Yeah, Tony Harrison. So my initial takeaway from the draw, and correct me if I'm wrong, did he maybe just look past this guy a little bit?
He did not look like the Tony and the Charlo fight, man.
I
Either
think
Charlo fight.
You're right. Exactly.
I think it was a mix between the rust, being off almost a year and a half, and him underestimating Perrella a little bit because he showed no regard in his defense, especially in the first 8 rounds or so, just walking him down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did that good in the second Charlo fight. He walked
Mhm.
Charlo down in the middle portion of that fight, but he kept his defense very tight. And with Perrella, I get why Carson would ask if he underestimated him because he was walking him down with, little to no regard for what was coming back. And because of it, he got nailed a number of times and stunned a number of times in that fight. That's why he got the draw.
Yeah, it was like you said, it was a lack of regard for what Perrella brought it. He was there all night. He was there to win, and yeah, Harrison just like he was there to be hit a lot more than we've seen him recently. There to be hit, and even if I know they mentioned on the commentary, there's sometimes where he's getting hit and his head is popping back. So whether it's hurting him or not, it's the judges.
It's a point.
And it's a point, and the judges can see that. So yeah, it was an odd performance. What do you think, SP?
It's I think it's always a fine line between making excuses and just trying to like really figure out what the real true reason is, why somebody underperforms or doesn't really do what you expect them to do. The first thought is that he did, in fact, underestimate Perrella. But when you take a closer look, you do have to consider everything that he's been through in the last year now. Yeah, maybe even less than a year. And I don't want to contribute at all just to obviously probably the biggest death in his life with being his dad, but his dad also being his coach.
Yeah.
As soon as he comes to the ring, I look at my dad like, hey, who's did you see who's working his corner? Well, his brother's working his corner. That's the natural maturation of his life and his life in the ring, because brother was always in the corner. And so when you say, well, his head coach, who was his dad, is not there anymore, but the guy who really has a bigger voice than his dad is right there, I kind of feel like I should take out that component. I feel that Tony may have plateaued. This may be the Tony that we saw just last night, may be the Tony that we'll get, moving forward. Speed didn't look like it was there to me. His power didn't look like it was there to me. And his boxing ability didn't look like it was there to me, and I know that Shawn mentioned ring rust, and I'm a fighter that doesn't really believe in ring rust, so it's hard for me to contribute it being that, but you do have to take into account that he has been out of the ring for some time as well. At any rate, I really didn't see draw in that fight. I thought that
Perrella won.
I thought that Perrella deserved the victory. I thought that even earlier on in the fight, he really came to work last night. I thought he lost like rounds 1, 2, and 3, and even 3. I was like, man, that's kind of a swing round. And if Tony doesn't do anything different, this is going to start to, get a little hotter than Tony wants. And sure enough, I really felt like rounds 4 to the end were really controlled. And there were some other rounds that were, a little bit more back and forth, but I felt like Perrella controlled a majority of the fight.
And then he got hit with a big shot, and I thought Tony was about to go to sleep.
He just seemed off. Like everything just seemed off. Like Shawn, when you were listing everything, like the defense wasn't there. His, usual quickness, being able to kind of get around a shot and then return one, everything just seemed kind of off. So I don't know if it's it is definitely a combination of what both Shawn said. Ring rust, obviously losing his father, which is massive in your life, and then factoring in the small equation of boxing.
Yeah.
And then even kind of just underestimating. It was just kind of disappointing. Get a draw, which is, I guess, I probably had Perrella by a round or two, but
yeah.
And maybe what Jermell Charlo did to him too. Come to think of it, right? We know about guys after they get a devastating knockout, they their reflexes aren't quite the same and they slow down. And this has been a few times that Tony's been knocked out. And
Exactly.
I thought that, just to slightly, disagree, Shawn, that I still saw some of the speed and the power coming forward. It was just what you said, the third thing, the boxing ability.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sloppy. He's just
Mm-hmm.
sloppy. He still, to me, showed the level of talent that this guy, Bryant Perrella, shouldn't have been able to hang with him and make it a life and death fight. So I think he can fight better than he fought last night, but I don't know if after being knocked out a few times and a guy that his punch resistance has never been that great, and now he's getting hit more than ever. I don't know. Yeah, but I do think maybe there's a decent fight there with him fighting the winner of Lubin versus Rosario if Jermell vacates after his big fight has been, announced or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we're all basically seeing and saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He almost has to. He's at that point in his career. He has to take that fight. What I seen last night, he's not ready. But Styles makes fights. But what I seen last night, he's not ready for those two.
I could see him beating either of those guys on a good day. But I think the Tony Harrison we saw yesterday does not beat both of them or even potentially either of them.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday, something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.